And when it comes to Litecoin, there's really a lot of interesting developments that have been happening. And when it comes to the general consensus of how the community has perceived Litecoin along its journey and how we've seen Litecoin develop, the reputation and so forth as it's continued to move along, definitely a lot of really interesting things that have gotten me paying really close attention to Litecoin. So essentially, just doing an overall just recap of where we are currently. So in April, we sort of experienced over the course of the past month a upward mobility trend, which was pretty confidence renewal for a lot of people who were otherwise losing faith in cryptocurrency from the time period that happened between February and April. Pretty obvious there. You could see the V shape as it was created. And now what I've honestly told people when I talk about this sort of correction that we were going through, it might not necessarily be over. When we see this sort of dip happen, it's fairly common for this sort of trajectory in the cryptocurrency space. So it's always important to do your research when it comes to these technologies and really develop a clear understanding of what these technologies are going to be looking like in a real world perspective. And when it comes to Litecoin, in particular, I'm very excited about smart contracts. As you know, smart contracts can be a really significant game changer when it comes to a technology, especially one that's already established itself along the lines that Litecoin has. So in particular, when it comes to a lot of the different news articles regarding Litecoin, so basically we go to the different news articles that are in the Winklevoss twins. I found this pretty interesting, expressing some serious interest in Litecoin, adding them to the Bitcoin, their exchanges and so forth. So definitely really interesting things happening there, especially when it comes to the fact that these brothers have pretty much established themselves as cryptocurrency celebrities in the mainstream. And when they're giving this sort of attention to something like Litecoin, it is interesting in regards to the public consciousness and the overall totality of what this technology is going to have in store in front of it. And I'm in particular excited to be seeing a lot of the different things that Litecoin has basically set up for itself moving along the way. And I think that it's fairly within it's pretty reasonable to imagine that Litecoin is going to be seeing some significant attention as we continue to move forward and we see all these different variables as they've come together. We've seen before a similar situation that's happened across various other cryptocurrencies that have followed a similar trend. And when it comes to Litecoin, I think that it's really no different. It's essentially going across in coordination with the totality of how we see the overall atmosphere of cryptocurrencies and the way that these developments have been happening. It's, obviously you have to pay attention to Bitcoin. You have to pay attention to what's happening in these top technologies. And of course, Litecoin is really establishing themselves as a key player when it comes to these sort of things and the way that we've been moving right along. And I think that once we hit once we really get involved with the quarter two of 2018, that's when we're going to start to see a lot of really significant variables coming into alignment when it comes to Litecoin. And it's happening right in front of our eyes. We really have to understand to ourselves that cryptocurrency is a huge paradigm shift that's going to affect multiple levels of society. And it's a lot to be said that these technologies are still in their early stages. And when it comes to Litecoin, I'm definitely really excited to be seeing where it's headed in the near future. Definitely a lot of exciting things happening across the board. So Yeah, and but also, of course, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your dad. Basically, at the end of the day, everybody's responsible for their own decisions, and I'm not responsible for any decision you may or may not make regarding Litecoin. Pretty much all I'm here to do is provide the audience with a interesting perspective, my opinion, and so forth, and also in the spirit of providing multiple opinions regarding Litecoin, I'm actually going to be including a link to this video by Crypto TV down in the description below. So after this stream is over, if you're interested in watching a 15-minute video that basically goes into really interesting detail regarding Litecoin and the potential that's in store for it, in particular, he does a good job explaining that $190 price target, and I'm inclined to agree to a certain extent. I would say that I mean, I've titled the video that you're watching right now, this stream, that it could reach $185 price possibility as things continue to move forward, and I think 190 is well within reach. Obviously, it's just a $5 difference. However, it is a lot to be said when you continue to see how Litecoin has been developing, and I think when it comes to the competition that's happening, because it really is a competition when you think about it, when you look at all the different cryptocurrencies on here, and I think when it comes to looking at Litecoin versus Bitcoin Cash and the overall possibilities that are in store for these different technologies, it's really important, the fact that Litecoin has been establishing these smart contracts and moving forward in such a significant way. And of course, I'm always interested in hearing different people's opinions. So if you would like, you could send me a link to a YouTube channel with somebody who talks about basically the potential or whatever, any information. You could send it to my Twitter. I'm actually including a link to my Twitter down in the description below. Always interesting to be using Twitter. It's a great resource for sharing information when it comes to these different technologies and so forth. And yeah, I definitely recommend that you follow Litecoin on their official Twitter as well, just because it's important to stay up to date regarding these technologies. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, knowledge is definitely power. And yeah, looking into just the potential that's in store for Litecoin and the overall point-by-point developments that are happening, I've done a lot of data analysis of Litecoin along the way, and I really am convinced that this is going to be a pivotal technology as we continue to move forward and we see the various developments happening in the light of the way that cryptocurrency has been moving forward. But yeah, looking at these different technologies on here, I think that Litecoin definitely has the power to move itself upward from that number 6 position and possibly even occupying the top 5 positions, especially when we see new people getting involved with cryptocurrency every day. The trend is that people tend to create Coinbase accounts, and that invokes them to have an interest in the cheapest cryptocurrency on Coinbase, which is a lot to be said. So it's interesting how in the crypto space, Litecoin has developed itself and really developed this reputation where people seem to be getting interested in the technology, and moving forward, it is interesting to see. And when it comes to LitePay, I have mixed feelings about LitePay, and of course, a lot of people have share this similar sentiment when it comes to the technology and the way that it's continued to move forward. But when it comes to Litecoin and cryptocurrency in general, I would definitely say that there's a lot of different potential in store for this technology, and in particular, I'm looking forward to paying attention to how Litecoin expands itself, respectively, in coordination with the way that society has been developing and getting itself used to cryptocurrencies and so forth. And moving forward, it's definitely a bright future. But yeah, just looking at the different comments right here. LTC has been making a lot of progress and gains. Adoption by merchant. Exactly. That's what I've been. So yeah, when it comes to consumers and various different merchant outlets, it is a lot of really interesting things that have been happening between Litecoin and the establishment. And I think as we see mass adoption continue to happen step by step, we will start to see Litecoin popping up in the news a lot more. And it is definitely really interesting to be seeing these different developments as they've been happening right in front of us. And we should honestly count ourselves lucky to be so early in the game when it comes to cryptocurrency and having this ability to have this perspective and understand how these technologies are going to be really interacting in the real world. So yeah, I'm definitely very interested in the Lamborghini age that we should be entering into, if I can make a pun. And yeah, it is definitely interesting to see the possibilities that are in store for technologies like Litecoin. And of course, all the way across the board, I would say that cryptocurrencies are going to have a huge role to play in the future. So it is definitely something to be said. But of course, remember, I'm not your dad. I'm not a financial advisor. This is basically just me sharing my opinion when it comes to these technologies and so forth. And when it comes to Litecoin, my opinion is pretty fundamentally positive, especially seeing the news and the general conversation that's been happening regarding Litecoin and the public consciousness and how people have been perceiving this technology as it's been moving forward. I'm definitely excited to be seeing the different deals that are being struck regarding Litecoin across the board. And I think that Litecoin will pretty much, it's already a household name in the cryptocurrency space. And moving forward, I think that there's a lot of potential for this technology to really expand itself and do some really important things in the light of the potential that's in store for these various different technologies and how they've been developing. So yeah, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this stream, and yeah, I will actually be speaking a little bit more now about Stellar, because I think Stellar is definitely an interesting technology to pay attention to as well, because Stellar is basically working along the similar lines as Ripple when it comes to making those key deals within the establishment that are going to be making a really significant impact along the way. And I think that this is one of those technologies that's catching the eye of a lot of those really significant financial bodies of power that are going to be the really key variable when it comes to moving forward and seeing how these technologies are going to be influencing the real-time development of how the various levels of society adapt themselves to this changing paradigm. And I believe Litecoin is also at the center of it. And moving forward, pretty much all the different technologies that are available currently, there's really a long way to go from where we are right now. The public conversation is starting to trend towards having people talking about their data and talking about how these different variables regarding the internet world and the Internet of Things are all starting to overlap. And it's definitely interesting to see how cryptocurrencies are really positioning themselves in a key substantial way to really get a significant boost when it comes to that. So Litecoin's really doing some interesting things coming across. And remember, I'm not your dad, but yeah, Litecoin is doing some really interesting things in that regard. And I'm definitely really interested in seeing how this technology is going to expand itself in this next couple of days. So yeah, I would definitely say that it's pretty easy to say that as far as my confidence in Litecoin goes, I could see it being worth $200 fairly easy. Again, it has been up at those price points before. We've seen it done before, and I'm fairly confident that we'll see it happen again. It's really only a matter of time. Certainly there's a lot of global variables that come into consideration when you look at cryptocurrencies, and it's not just one single thing. It's so many different things overlapping that really have to contribute to this. But year by year, it's a slow burn, and I'm definitely interested in seeing how the public is becoming acquainted with these technologies, and certainly Litecoin has found its way into public usages in ways that have been unprecedented in the cryptocurrency community. And that's one of the things that I think Litecoin definitely has going for its favor. So overall, when it comes to Litecoin, I'm definitely excited. Looking at the team that's been working on Litecoin, a lot of confidence there. And I think as we continue to move forward, Litecoin will do whatever Bitcoin does. Yeah, I agree. I think that there is a lot of overlap, and I think that as Litecoin continues to move forward, it will really exert itself as a fundamental alternative to a lot of the different technologies that it's currently competing against. And overall, I'm fairly confident that cryptocurrency has a really substantial place for this technology as we continue to move forward. So all that being said, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and of course follow myself and the Litecoin project on Twitter so that we can all continue to build this awesome community together. Like I said, the whole purpose of this channel is to basically share various different opinions when it comes to these technologies so that we can all be a little bit more educated and help each other out in regards to where we're capable of helping each other out and so forth. Yeah, all right, so I'll leave it at that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.